Hey, y'all. 7 more days until Baby Beckham gets here. Isn't that exciting? This is Christy Eggers bringing you your Magnanimous Monday rewind call from Krystal. Krystal recorded this call on May 23rd, 2016, and it is entitled Pits, Purpose, and Promises. Enjoy the call and have a magnanimous Monday, y'all.
Hey, y'all, it's Krystal Hunsucker, and welcome to your Magnanimous Monday $1 Million Message. Excited to be talking to you as we head into the end of May in the seminar year. And today I want to talk to you about God sees the end from the beginning, and He will use everything from beginning to the end for your good. So you may be sitting in the middle of something great, in the middle of something not so great, but whatever it is, there is an end, and we know how it ends, but you know what the end result is that you want. And just knowing and having faith today that God sees the end from the beginning, and He's going to use everything from beginning to the end, and it's going to be for your good. So I want to talk to you about just a couple of different things. First of all, every dream, every destiny has a pit. Well, that may not be what you wanted to hear today, but every dream and every destiny has a pit. I want to share a story with you. And there was this boy, and he was no scholar, and his classmates teased him. And rather than read, this kid really preferred running around with an 8mm camera, shooting homemade movies of Rex and his Lionel train set. And, you know, he would show it to his friends for a small fee. In his sophomore year of high school, he dropped out. But when his parents persuaded him to return, he was mistakenly placed in a learning disabled class. He lasted about a month. Only when the family moved to another town did he land in a more suitable high school where he did eventually graduate. After being denied entrance into a traditional filmmaking school, this boy enrolled in English at California State College at Long Beach, but in 1965, he recalls in one of those serendipitous moments, his life took a complete turn. Visiting Universal Studios, he met Chuck Silvers, an executive in the editorial department. Silvers liked the kid who made 8mm films and invited him back sometime to visit. Well, he appeared the next day. Without a job or security clearance, he dressed in a dark suit and tie, carrying his father's briefcase with nothing inside but a sandwich and a candy bar. Strode confidently up to the guard at the gate of Universal and gave him a casual wave. The guard waved back, and he was in. For the entire summer, he remembers that he dressed in that suit and hung out with the directors and writers, including Silvers, who knew the kid wasn't a studio employee, but winked at the deception. He even found an office that wasn't being used and became a squatter. He bought some plastic tiles and put his name in the building directory. And guess what that name was? Steven Spielberg, room 23C. You know what, though? It paid off for everyone, because 10 years later, the 28-year-old Spielberg directed Jaws, which took in $470 million, then the highest-grossing movie of all time. Dozens of films and awards have followed because Steven Spielberg knew what his teachers didn't. Talent is in the eye of the filmmaker. Now, talk about having a dream and a destiny and feeling like you're in a pit. You know, I mean, just imagine dropping out of high school thinking this is all over, but still making it. You know, leadershipology.com says, remember today, a dream that is worth pursuing will have many obstacles. Every obstacle becomes a stepping stone to your next level. And I got to be honest with you, sometimes it's hard to have that perspective and that attitude. But the day that you choose to decide to be a glass half full instead of a glass half empty kind of person, your entire life will change. Every obstacle that comes will change because you will be looking for the silver lining, for the way to step on it, to step up. It really is true. So use every obstacle to become a stepping stone to your next level. Leadershipology.com also says, never allow your pits to make you pitiful, but rather use them to make you powerful. Take that pit and don't be pitiful and get powerful, right? You know, and a lot of you have just a lot of things going on in your life, and I think that's one of the biggest challenges of our Mary Kay business, because ultimately we have to make ourselves do the things that we have to do. We have to be self-disciplined. We have to be self-leadership. And sometimes life just throws us things that really honestly put us in a pit, and it just makes it really hard to do. It just makes it emotionally hard to deal with and to keep doing our business. But, also just realizing that every dream and every destiny has a pit. So you can be thrown into a pit when maybe your spouse said that they're in love with someone else and they're leaving, or you could be thrown into a pit as a child and your father and mother got a divorce and someone abandoned the home. You can be thrown in the pit if you've been rejected by someone you wanted and felt you needed so desperately to love you. You can be thrown into a pit if you have a life-threatening disease. You could be thrown into a pit where there's tragic financial loss. You could be thrown into a pit if someone, a child, a sibling, or a husband, or a close family or friend dies, and, we're all going to face that pit. But the ultimate thing is to remember and keep your eye that every dream and destiny has a pit, but the next step is the best, because every pit has a purpose. In God's Word, in Ecclesiastes 3:1, it says, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven." In Romans 8:28, it says, "And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them." So you know that dream you have, that destiny has a pit, but that pit has a purpose. And the purpose of any test is not just to prove your present knowledge based on past experience, but to prove your wisdom for future success. And if you live with the end in view, it will give purpose to what you are going through in the present and give you power to learn from the experiences of your past. And, that's so important of why Mary Kay always taught us how important it is to have an audacious goal, a goal that makes our stomach kind of turn, that goal, seeing that end result so that we can, see what the purposes of things that are happening. There's lots of times in my business where frustrating things have happened, or someone quit, or, decided not to be on my team anymore, whatever it is. And because I had the end view in sight, I knew that happening was going to help me help someone else, that it was going to build me stronger, that it was going to be character building, and that if my road to success was perfectly paved with perfect people and perfect things always happening, it wasn't going to be a very God-ordained story, but I have the end in mind. So every dream and every destiny has a pit, every pit has a purpose, and every purpose has a process. This is the part that a lot of us don't like, because we got to go through the process. And I just want to encourage you today to be okay in the process that you're in. Now, I'm not letting you off the hook. I'm not saying let go of your dream. I'm not saying don't make things happen. I'm not saying anything like that. But I am saying find a way to enjoy your process. Because if you're going to have a pit, and the pit has a purpose, and the purpose has a process, you have got to learn to find joy even in the process. And I will tell you, can I just tell you guys, I love my career. And yes, I have dreams of being in a different position, in a different suit. But can I tell you a secret? I love my life. I love it. I love being an executive senior sales director and being an elite executive senior sales director. I'm telling you, if you are a director, the best place to be is executive and above. And if you are a consultant, get to director so that then you can focus on getting to executive. Because I am just telling you, that process of being an executive and all of the things that I've learned along the way. I've been an executive, you guys, for a really long time in my career. But you know what? I wouldn't change it for a minute. I have learned so much. I have had so much fun. It is such an amazing position. And I truly have loved this process. And, would I rather be ahead farther than I am right now? Absolutely. But I also have found joy with where I sit today. Process is a principle of life that will either kill your potential or give life to your dreams. Don't let process kill your potential. Let it give life to your dreams. And the middle is not the end, but a process you must grow through to get to your new beginning. We're going to get to an end, but really the end is just a new beginning of something else. And it gets really muddled and murky and scary in the middle. But I can promise you, if you will fight through the middle and remember that you have a dream and you have a destiny, and those are going to have pits, but that pit has a purpose, and that purpose has a process, and that there will be an end one day. If you do not quit, you keep going, you never stop, it is going to happen. The last thing I want to share with you today is every process has a promise. And just knowing in Ecclesiastes 3:11, it says, yet God has made everything beautiful for its own time. He has planted eternity in the human heart, but even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from beginning to end. And I know that whatever God does is final. Nothing can be added to it or taken away. God's purpose is that people should fear him. And, just being confident and knowing that he who has begun, this is in Philippians 1:6, he who has begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. And you guys, I've got to tell you, a year ago, right this very minute, a year ago, I didn't even know that I was going to have a baby, and that baby was forming inside of me. But God knew. God had this plan and this purpose, and I had this dream and this destiny. And let me tell you, I was in a pit because I had lost a baby a few months earlier, and that was a tough thing. That pit had a purpose, though, because so many of you were, God was able to use me to speak to so many of you and to hopefully help you through a hard time and give you joy and understanding, even though I still don't understand. But you know what? I do trust God. That is the bottom line. And so I went through that the pit had a purpose, and I had to go through the process to know that God was still going to give me the promise of my heart. And, tonight, I just got to tell you, I spent the last 2 hours, I just held my baby tonight. And he was born with all of his hair, and, a lot of it's fallen out, and so it's regrowing in, and so he's got this fuzzy little head. And I just kissed that little head because even though I may have not loved the purpose of that and the process, but God gave me a promise, and he is a good, good father. God is a good, good father. Another great song. Oh, I love it. You're a good, good father. He really is. And he will fulfill your promise. Just keep going. Keep knowing there's a purpose for that pit. There's a process. And that there will be a promise at the end. The last thing I want to share with you is from leadershipology.com. And persistence is to keep doing what you know to do, even when doing what you know to do doesn't seem to be getting any results. Showing that the greatest outcome of doing what you know to do is what you become in the process, not what you get from doing the process. So let's keep doing what we know to do. And what we know to do in this Mary Kay world, in this Mary Kay business, is to share our product and share our opportunity. You're going to sell lots of makeup on the way. You're going to make a lot of great income. You're going to build a lot of great team members, but ultimately knowing that God is in control and that there is a reason for all of this, and that you will become better in the process. And just doing more in a short amount of time, just like I talked about last week. I hope this is going to set you up for a successful and incredible week of May. We've got lots of time left in the month, you guys. There's plenty of time. So make it happen, make great things happen. And I love you. I'm so grateful and honored to speak into your life, and hope that today's call helped. Let me bless you. Raise your hands in the air. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face to shine upon you. May you know that if God is for you, who can be against you? With God on your side, whom shall you fear? May you be like a tree that is planted by rivers of living water, that your leaves will not wither, and whatever you do, say it with me, it shall prosper. Happy Magnanimous Monday.